Hello everyone, I am Bets Golden. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I want to talk about, I gotta admit, this is not my favorite ink, but I have two favorite types of ink, three, and this is definitely in the top three because the blendability is beautiful on these. And I have to tell you, when I first got distress inks years ago, I couldn't figure them out. They confused me, and it took a while for me to figure them out. But once I got them figured out, I love them, and they create the most beautiful backgrounds. So today I'm going to talk to you about how you can create a beautiful, cool background. And what I mean by cool is you have to respect the color family when you're using your distress inks. And that means that you have cool colors, which are water-based colors. Think of like the ocean and things like that. So there's a blue undertone. You can mix any blue undertone color together and get a lovely background. You will not get mud. That was my problem before, is I would get mud and I couldn't figure it out. But when you use this is a highly movable ink and you respect your color families, you will create some amazing backgrounds. And just because they're distressed, don't let it fool you. I am a bright, vibrant, whimsical type artist, and I can get backgrounds on here that are vibrant and beautiful and bright. So, or I can do some distress, which you'll see in later videos. My very favorite color palette though is cool. So I like things with the blue undertone. So everything you're going to see today is going to be created with blue in it. And I'm going to show you just the technique that I like to use. And basically you're going to start with your color. And so I'm going to give you my three favorite blendable, my three favorite color combos. Okay, so this is my first, and it is Twisted Citron, Lucky Clover, and Broken China. So what I like to do is I like to just go in and just create a massive V. This to me is just like the easiest way to do this, and I really layer it on nice and thick. So I'm going to show you two other color palettes, I should say, or color blends that you can do with two other of these cool type colors, okay? And you'll be able to just get perfect blends every time. So this is just one technique that you can do with this. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing, and then make sure you hit that bell to get notifications of when I'm coming out with a new video. If you have any questions or comments as I go along, please don't hesitate to ask down below. And then also, if you enjoy this video, I would love it if you would share it and give it a like. YouTube really likes that. Okay, so next up, I'm going to do Lucky Clover, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did before. I'm just going to create a V. So I just work from one corner down to another. This, of course, is not the only way that you can use these. You don't have to do this palette. I'll show you a couple other ways in some other videos on how you can blend and just get the background down. And then finally, we're going to move in with our Broken China, which is a blue. Like I said, everything you're going to see today is going to have a blue in it. And for this, I just like to go around and blend through where those colors did not meet. And just blend it all the way on through, like so. Now, this might be where you guys would like to stop, okay? For me, not so much. I want to get a little bit more vibrancy. So I like to go back through at least with my lightest color and go over that area one more time that I did the first time. That's just kind of what I do. It's my favorite thing to do, is just work it on through like so. Now from here, I am going to add some water, and I'm going to show you something that's very interesting when you are adding water to any kind of distress ink. This doesn't necessarily apply for distress oxide, completely different type of ink. So I just want to clarify that for you guys. When you put the water on, the ink starts to move. Now, if you're using the distress sprayer, if you do like really quick, you'll get a really nice mist. If you go slower, you'll get drops. So I can start to dry this out. Now, even though I'm drying it out, it still is going to move if I lay on any more water on this. So that's why you have to really respect your color family. Now, let's say that I want this ink right here to stop moving. I'm actually going to lift it by dabbing it. Now, when you lift it, the water that's on it is also picking up some of that ink. So just because you dry it, that may stop it from reacting, but it doesn't lift the ink. It still will sit there. Whereas if you take and you dry it with a paper towel, I actually used a wet one just to get some more moisture up off of that. You can blend with wet ones on this. It will lift that up and remove the ink. So that's a great thing to keep in mind if your vibrancy is too much. And then once you're done getting what you want out of it, you can either let it dry or you can take and heat set it. I like to use the heated craft tool because it does not blow the ink everywhere around, blow those droplets around. It kind of respects the integrity of it and gives a nice even airflow. And then let's say that you're right here and you're like, you know what, I got too much white off, or I want to add a little bit more depth. You can go back in some of your areas. And I actually like what this looks like, but I'm just gonna, for this purpose, I'm gonna add a little bit more. And you can just go back in and add just a little bit more color over where you just did it, making sure that you are staying with the colors that you started with so you do not get mud. Mud is when you take secondary colors from one color family and mix them with primary or secondary colors from the opposite color family, and it just doesn't ever usually end very well for you. So that's why it's always a question. You could get a beautiful mix and then, well, you could not. So it just depends. All right, so I'm going in right now with some broken china once again. And now I like that, but I want to definitely soften that up. I don't like that it looks like I just laid more color down. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh yeah, I can totally see I laid color down. So I'm just going to go and just hit it with these drops. And instead of lifting anything, I just got that to move just ever so slightly. I'm not going to lift this. I am just going to dry it and let the ink settle where it settles on the page. All right. So this is a really beautiful blend, the citrus, citron, broken china, and lucky clover. You will always get gorgeousness when you do this. Let me show you two other blends that I've prepared for you using the same basic technique that I shared today. I'm going to be sharing with you a couple other ways that you can use the blending tool. Today was the V technique, I like to call it. All right, so that was with these colors right here. This is another sample that I created with this same color. So as you can see, same gorgeous color palette, just a lovely design, nice and bright and beautiful. And then another nice one to do is to create a color that's more blue instead of green and still stay in your cool family, is going to be cracked pistachio, peacock feather, and mermaid lagoon. These colors are gorgeous together. And again, I just made a sample with that right there. So isn't that lovely? And then last but not least, if you want to do a grungy look that is in the cool tone, but you don't want mud, but you definitely want that grunge, that distress look, your perfect combination is going to be peeled paint, pine needles, and faded jeans. Now look how beautiful that is. If that is not a gorgeous, distress, cool, grungy look, I don't know what is. So lovely, same basic principle, and that is the colors that I use to create that. Now you notice, like I said, with a cool palette, you always want to have the underline or the primary color focus around blue, which is exactly what we did here. All of these colors are focused around blue, and you have beautiful backgrounds because they all work together because they're focused around blue. There is blue in every single combo. All right, you guys, I certainly hope that you enjoyed this video, and make sure you come back. I have some other videos I want to share with you on how to use these inks. I'm going to go over these quite extensively on my channel, just because even though they've been on the market for a long time, a lot of people still get confused because they get mud and they don't realize that you can create beautiful distressed look like that without getting mud. And so we're going to go through all the color families, talk about what I call, or what actually Dilutions Diane Reevely calls, the color of sin. And I'm going to show you how you can work with that dangerous purple with distress inks and have a surefire way every time, as well as doing warm ones. And then I'm going to do something that might shock you guys. I'm going to show you how to make some beautiful vintagey distress grungy backgrounds as well, which is something that you may have never thought that I know how to do, because I like it bright and vibrant. But I'm going to show you how you can actually really grunge it up with the traditional way, using some of these inks as well. All right, well, you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time, I'm Beth Golden. Happy crafting.